Yeah, bang, bang, bang. I just see a great podcast, mate. Really, really good. I mean, it's the best podcast I've seen for a long, long time. Matt Legg, doing Big Joe Egan. Fantastic podcast. And not only that, I got mentioned in it, and Joe remembered me from years back. It's funny, really. I was with a guy called Danny W. I won't say his second name because he's very famous as an actor, and he doesn't want to be mentioned because of Guy Ritchie and all that sort of thing, yeah. But Big Joe and Danny, very, very close. And Danny used to come around and see me quite a lot, yeah. And what it was about prisons and all them sort of things, just talking to me about it, yeah. Anyway, one day I was talking about Big Joe again. I said, you know what? I said, there's a guy I really respect, He was supposed to be the toughest white man ever, is Big Joe Egan. He went, yeah, he's a mate of mine, mate. I went, shut up, Dan, don't muck about it. He said, he is, mate. He's a good pal of mine. I went, oh, my God. I said, can't you get him out to come round and see me one day? He went, nah, well, Joe's a very busy man, and I'm busy. Anyway, one day I was indoors, and I knocked on the door, and it was Danny W. Hello, Dan. He said, go in, mate. As he come through the door, Big Joe come around the corner, Joe Egan. I was took back, you know what I mean? Because he's like such a nice guy. Shook his hand went twice around my hand, but he's his powerhouse, you know what I mean? And my stairs are very steep and not too wide. So Joe could just about walk up my stairs. And because they're quite narrow, I'm behind Joe. I thought, Joe, don't fall back, mate, because if you fall back, you'll flat me, you know what I mean? You'll kill me, mate, because he's massive. Anyway, goes in the front room, and Danny started talking about me, as the things that was happening to me in prison and my stories, yeah. And Joe Egan was really, really surprised. We must have been there, 20 minutes talking about me, my life, and what's been happening in my prisons and out here, armed robberies and all that. Joe said to me, do you know what, mate? He said, I'm not being funny, mate, but you should write a book, mate. It'd go a long way. And he said, like, people like Guy Ritchie and people like that would love to get all that book. It's just too good. And Danny W was saying, well, it's not got that far, and because I can't mention Danny W, but Joe was just a nice guy. And then Joe started talking about his life, and Joe has got a story. Well, anybody watch it tonight on Matt Legg's podcast, fantastic. That's one of the best podcasts I've ever seen. Matt Legg has done fantastic to get Joe Egan on the opposite side, on the opposite on a phone or computer, and it was fantastic, Joe White. But when Joe started in my place talking, it's the same as he was talking on Matt Legg's podcast. Joe goes on for hours, he don't stop. And the only way to stop Joe, I found that through Danny. Danny looked at me and said, Danny went to me, grub, food. He went. So I said to Joe, I said, are you hungry, Joe? He went, do you know what? He says, I am a bit hungry. So Danny went, let's go to some fish and chips. So Joe went, yeah. So Danny said, come on, go down to the fish and chip shop, come on, mate. Joe said, no, mate. You stick there, mate. I'll go down with Danny to the fish and chip shop. He said, what do you want? I said, bit of rock and chips will do me, mate. Danny had the same thing. Joe came back with a big bag. I got my cod and chips. Danny got his cod and chips, put them on plates. I couldn't put Joe's on plates. He had about 10 plates. So what he done, he opened up the paper and tipped all the stuff, about 6 bits of fish, all the chips, tomato sauce, and he sat there for, 20 minutes eating these fish and chips, and he was like getting it down in. I made him a drink and everything. Come back in, started talking again. Also, I could see Joe's eyes going. I could see his eyes going where he was tired. The fish and chips had knocked him out. I thought to myself, thank God, the only way to shut this geezer up is to feed him. And I put on one of my comments tonight to Matt Legg, I said, the only way to shut him up, Matt, is to feed him. You've got to give him food. But I took it off because it's a bit of a limit. It's Matt Legg's podcast, so I don't want to ruin it, you know what I mean? But fair play to Matt, giving me something, and I'm pleased. Thanks, Matt, and I appreciate that, mate. And anyway, it's just And then Joe was falling asleep, and I said to Danny, "You better take him home." Joe went, "Yeah, I'm tired, you know." And he went and stayed home with Danny. And then Danny phoned me the next day. He went, "Oh, he said all night long Joe was doing was passing wind. He never stopped passing wind all night." I'm gonna start laughing. Anyway, just a little video about my old mate Joe Egan and Matt Legg. Yeah, thanks very much, Matt, again. It was a fantastic podcast, mate. I hope you do really well out that. You're entitled to be the best one I've heard on YouTube. Mate, take care, yeah. Bye-bye.